work, relationships, family, finances, major life decisions, you name it. We've all been there. This week's Therapy Thursday focuses on why our brains get stuck in those loops, how to recognize when it's happening, and what people can do to break the cycle. Trent Mailer joins our Reno with some practical strategies for viewers to help us feel more present and more confident as we head into the summer months. Trent, thanks so much for coming on this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm glad to be
Absolutely.
here.
Well, we're so glad to have you back. And I was just mentioning to you before we came on air here, I was like, this is a great topic to talk about right now because a lot of graduates, so teenagers are home for the summer. And that I feel like is when the overthinking really starts. When you kind of enter that puberty phase, you're thinking about what the future is going to be like. Maybe you're heading into high school and you're just stuck at home now with a lot of time to think about it. So Is this kind of why our brains get stuck in this loop? Is it having too much free time? Would this happen no matter how busy you are? Kind of explain how this works.
Yeah, it can kind of happen anytime. And a lot of time it does kind of go back to how much time I do have in my hands. And some people have probably recognized out there that when I'm busy, I'm not stuck in my thoughts.
Yeah.
That does work. But this is actually less of a thinking problem and more of a certainty problem. What we do when we're overthinking is we're trying to create certainty through our thoughts. We're trying to come to an answer or trying to understand something. The best example of that is sending a text and being left on read. People all the time start getting into their heads of what did I do? Did I say something that bothered them? Did I do something wrong? Are they mad at me? And sometimes they just literally didn't text back and that's it. Like their phone broke, maybe they forgot, maybe they got caught up, but we're trying to get an answer to figure out why does this happen so I can feel better, because that certainty causes us to relax. So
That's
it's really
a
response to uncertainty.
Yeah. Because, I have been in that exact predicament. Oh my gosh, did I say something? Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up. Maybe I shouldn't have even reached out to that person. But most of the time, it's not them. It's us just overthinking it in our own brain. Tell me a little bit about maybe what you would say to someone who comes to you and they're like, I'm overthinking a lot. I have a lot of time on my hands, but I'm still getting caught up in this process where I'm just thinking bad thoughts or maybe thinking too much about situations that I could really be hands off about.
100%. I think the best way to do it is something I call the notice, name, and next.
Okay,
so it's really 3 steps. The first step is you notice you're doing it. Recognition is the first step. If you can't catch yourself overthinking, you can't do anything about it. So we got to see that we're doing it. Then we name it. We name it to tame it, that I'm overthinking right now. I'm trying to find certainty. And then next is, what can I actually do right now? Am I just going to sit there and stir in my mind, or could I actually do something about this? Can I go talk to somebody? Can I ask a question? Can I go get some help? Can I deal with this in a different way? And then we just try and move on. Because a lot of times we get stuck in that loop, just keep going through it. We just keep thinking it's going to make us feel better, but we just keep doing it, and honestly, it just makes us feel worse.
I love that you have a 3-step process. It's super easy. It's simple to follow. A lot of people can easily pick that up. Now, a lot of times we're not overthinking. Maybe sometimes we're just problem solving. A lot of the times overthinking starts by trying to solve a problem. But tell me when you can kind of spot that difference, or when internally we should know, okay, now this has gone a little too far.
Yeah, I think that's when there's nothing left to really do. Like when we're just sitting there thinking about what I could have done or what I can do next time, like that can be helpful in some ways to kind of reflect and learn from it. We want to grow. But at a certain point, there's like, I don't have anything I can actually do right now. And that's the point where it's like, let me focus back on what can I do. And if there's nothing I can do with this situation, maybe I need to drop it and focus on something else for right now. That's the power of distraction. Sometimes it's not bad to be distracted.
Right. I feel like that's why a lot of people almost overwork themselves just to keep them from having these thoughts that overpower, what they're actually doing during the day.
Yes, and that happens all the time, and that's why I'm so passionate about performance optimization, because we don't have to live in survival mode all of the time. What we can do is manage these things in more effective ways that just work better. And these things do work if we just know what tools to use at the right time.
Now, would you say overthinking, I did mention sometimes it is a negative talk. Can it be positive talk as well? Just thinking about like a positive situation too much. Is that considered overthinking as well? It's not always negative?
It can be. Sometimes we just get stuck on things. And it's really all about balance. The best example I like to use with balance is water. Drink too much water, you die. Drink no water, you die, right? So you got to find that middle ground of where is the sweet spot. And that's the same thing with anything in our life. All of life is about balance. If we just sit in the positives all day long and just think about how great we did and how awesome it was, like that's great, we need to do that. But if that's all you do, you're gonna get stuck in the past. And that's where you see certain people holding on to things that happened 10 years ago. And it's like at some point we gotta move forward too. So we gotta enjoy this, but we can't get stuck in it either.
Absolutely. Great advice this morning. Just to wrap up here really quickly, let's talk about how to go from what if to what is, live in the present moment.
Yeah, it's just checking back in, is it happening right now? You know, whenever we say these things like should or could or what if, that's usually a sign that we're thinking either about the future or the past. And we don't have any control of those. What we do have control over is right here in the present, and the more we can stay in the present, the more we can reduce discomfort, and the more we can increase pleasure and just feel good moments. So really staying in the present is one of the most powerful things we can do, is it helps us stay in a moment where we can control the controllables and not be lost in all these places thinking about things we actually can't do anything about, which just creates more anxiety and overthinking.
Absolutely. Well, great advice from you this morning. I'm going to hire you as my therapist.
I'd love to work.
Thank you, Trent, so much. Great advice, especially as we head into these summer months. Teenagers are home, parents are home, maybe thinking about stuff. Be nice to yourself always. And remember Trent's 3 steps. It's so easy to follow as we head into these summer months. Outside for you, 9:20 is the time for you. We'll be right back with another look at your forecast, and we're talking about FIFA.